All right, thanks for jumping on. Hope everyone made it back from Tuscaloosa smoothly. Looking back, obviously, at yesterday, really disappointing to not be able to finish that game and come out of there with a win. Our guys were certainly excited to play, ready to play. Um, and in the end of the game, we were in position to win it, and we just couldn't get it done, which is tough to tough to handle. But proud of our guys to go down 14-0 on the road and then score 19 straight points. We showed mental toughness, physical toughness, no question about it. As I said in the post-game press conference, you can't turn the ball over 4 times against anybody and expect to win the football game. And we turned it over 4 times yesterday, and on the road against a top 10 team. We had opportunities. We missed some opportunities on all 3 phases. We had the situation where we roughed the punter, but that should have been a blocked punt for a touchdown if we just execute a little bit better. We put ourselves in position to win the game and didn't finish, and that's going to be the key for us going forward is finishing. But we're, through everything we've been through, or everything that we've been through to this point, we're at the halfway point of the regular season, and we've got the second half of the season coming up. And I know our guys are hurt, as they should be. We let an opportunity get away. We've lost to 2 top 10 teams by a total of 5 points. So we're right there, and we've just got to keep banging on that door. And eventually it's going to fly open. And when it does, it's going to be awesome. But really proud of these guys. But they're, like I said, they're hurting, but eager to get back to work here on the practice field this evening and then get ready for a really talented Oklahoma team. Injury-wise, came out of that yesterday in great shape. And before I open up for questions, certainly want to congratulate our volleyball team on a huge win over the Florida Gators today. First time in Gainesville since 1986. So congratulations to them. That's an awesome win. And I know the game didn't go the way he wanted it to, but pretty cool to see Spencer Rattler get his first NFL start today. And I got a text from Dante Miller yesterday after the game telling me that he would be active for the New York Giants tonight in their game, and he'll be playing special teams. So pretty cool for Dante and happy for him as well. So questions? Oh, I'm sorry, guys that played well offensively. Jatavius Shivers came in at right tackle. Casey Henry got banged up a little bit. He'll be fine. Tavy came in and did a really nice job for us. Mazio Bennett, we thought, did really well. Defensively, Demetrius Knight played great. O'Donnell Fortune and Jalen Kilgore had big turnovers and did a great job throughout the game. And special teams-wise, David Busey had an awesome hit on the kickoff, but does a great job on all of our special teams. And then Kai Kroger as well with the way that he handled field position and then the onside kick at the end. Questions?
Hey, Shane, it's Dave. I know that you and Dowell talked to Linares about the fumbles. Just from a coaching perspective, how do you kind of walk that line between we really need to get better at this and trying not to hurt his confidence? And then does that line move as you go through the season?
No, it's a great question. You look at the play, David, where we were backed up in our own end zone. We got pressure. They got some pressure on us. Linares got his way out of trouble on the scramble. But before he got his way out of trouble, he's got the ball in his right hand and the ball goes down and actually touches the ground. And then he's able to come out of it and throw the ball down the sideline to our receiver that had gotten behind the coverage and could have been a 90-yard touchdown pass. We weren't able to connect on it. So you don't want to coach him out of those plays because that's where he's just so good. We saw that against Kentucky on a couple of those plays as well for explosive passes. But at the same time, just making sure that he's always, not just Linares, but all of our players are doing the things that we coach them to do from a ball security standpoint, the techniques we teach, the getting the ball, 2 hands on the ball when you're in traffic, getting the ball away from the defenders when they're coming to you from inside out, That's all of us, but there's no question about it. And then it's 2 weeks in a row we've had fumbles on exchanges, so we certainly got to look at that. I mean, we practice that every day. It's one of the first things we do in practice. The quarterbacks and running backs get together and just practice handoffs, but we haven't done a good enough job of it because we had one last week with Robbie and Rocket, and then we had one yesterday with Lenoris and Rocket. So we got to look back at all of them and get back to playing winning football, because when you are turning the ball, when you have 4 turnovers and fumbles like that, it's hard to win football games, and our margin for error is not very big, and we've got to be better there for sure.
Hey Shane,
it's Jeff. Go ahead, Hal.
Okay, Shane, I was going to ask about Nick Harbor with the touchdown and finally having a big play to get folks talking again. So I don't think we asked you about him yesterday, so I got to ask you about him tonight, I guess. How do you think that'll help propel him moving forward, having something to build off of like that?
No, it was good to see. He played a lot of plays yesterday. He works his butt off, Hale. He's up here all the time on his own and with Coach Furry. It's very important to him. So I was happy to see him have success, and that's what he can do. He's a big body that can run, and then to be able to make a competitive catch in the end zone yesterday and get that foot down was a really big play for our team and for him as well. And then there's obviously things that he's got to continue to improve on when it comes to playing the wide receiver position. But great to see him make a play, and he'll continue to, and all of our receivers continue to get better. And I'm excited to watch them continue to develop.
Hey, Shane, wanted to ask you about the last play of the game on the interception. I think I saw Gage Larverdam was kind of open, kind of closer to the sideline. What was the thought process on that play there after watching the tape, and what did you think of Sellers kind of throwing deep there instead of maybe throwing to Gage and trying to pick up some yards to maybe get a field goal there?
Yeah, saw the same thing, and you're right. I mean, hindsight being 2020, it's easy for all of us, myself included, to sit here on Sunday and say, hey, shoot, if we just throw the ball out there to the flat, he's going to catch it, because they were playing loose coverage, and they were, we would have caught it, run for 5 or 10 yards, gotten out of bounds, and kicked the field goal. But in the moment, Jack, 2 plays in a row, they zero blitzed us, meaning they brought everybody, and it had DBs back there with no help. And we had a play called where if they played cover 0, we had a chance to throw up a ball to Nick in one-on-one coverage, very similar to the previous touchdown. And if they ended up, disguising it and playing something else, we had a couple routes that were breaking towards the sideline. It was a very similar play to the one we scored on against Mazio earlier in the game, just a little tweak off of it. But, we felt like before the ball was snapped, we saw pressure coming, knew it was going to be cover 0, which means it should be Nick man-to-man and one-on-one with somebody. And we like that matchup. With the routes, the guy that had our defender in the flat kind of fell off on him for whatever reason and ended up staying with Nick on the deeper routes. But don't fault the decision. Don't fault the call. For whatever reason, Nick quit running a little bit on that play and would love to have kept running and at least either draw a pass interference or make the catch, or at the worst, it's an incomplete pass and you got time for, maybe one more play to get out of bounds. But we certainly were, like the opportunity to score a touchdown. We were trying to get in field goal range. There's no question about it. But everybody, you guys just asked me about Nick Harbor, and you're right. We get one-on-one coverage out there. We like our chances there as well.
Hey, Shane, it's Alan. You mentioned how well Jatavius played in a tough spot. I guess, 1, what did you see from him stepping in there? And 2, I know you never want to bench anyone because of injury, but did he play well enough to open a battle at right tackle, or do you still expect Case and Henry to be there next week?
No, we'll continue to compete. I think the way that Tavy was able to play yesterday, Alan, was because of the way that he practices. He's come a long way, and really since spring practice, he's come a long way and had a good preseason, and somebody that we've been trying to, keep bringing along and just to continue to develop that rotation on the offensive line, because right now we've got 5 guys, and that's all that play. And we'd love to have, 2 or 3 more guys rotating in there as well. Tavy being one of them. So he's practiced well, put himself in position to go out there yesterday and performed. And just like all positions, we will, continue to compete. There's one on our team that has a, starting spot cemented for the next 6 games.
Hey, Shane, it's Jordan. Obviously, it was a really tough spot, but with Alex missing that kick there from deep, is that another position where you guys compete throughout the week, or do you just try and build his confidence this week going into Oklahoma?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those situations. There's certain plays or certain positions, quarterback, punter, kicker, where there's only one guy on the field at a time, and you don't want to be rotating guys through and through. And Alex has made some big kicks. We put him in a tough position there to kick that field goal. We had a somewhat of a shot play called on the play before to try and get farther down the field. And then the way they played coverage, it ended up being a more of a shorter throw that we made. So we didn't put him in the best position right there, but we expect him to make that kick, and he expects to make that kick. And certainly he's done some really good things for us, and we expect him to continue to. And we're always looking at everything. And again, I'll tell you, just like I told Alan with the previous question about Kaysen and the offensive line, I mean, we're competing everywhere. We don't just practice to practice. We compete. And I know you guys think that I just, say that. It's truly every week the people that give us the best chance to be successful will be the ones out there. But we have a lot of confidence in Alex, and I told him after he missed that kick yesterday that we needed to get him a little bit closer, and he needed to be ready to come back and make a game winner later in the game. And it almost happened on that drive. We were right there in position and truly thought we were going to get him out there to kick a game-winning field goal. And what a story that would have been. And just hate that we weren't able to finish that drive offensively to give him an opportunity to go make that final kick.
Hey, Shane, it's Ben Briner. I had kind of a 2-part question. First is sort of, what has been sort of your assessment of Josiah Thompson across kind of these first 6 games? And the second is sort of, how do you mentally prepare someone that young for like the grind of being an SEC offensive tackle, which is probably one of the toughest jobs in this sport? Yeah.
It's absolutely one of the toughest jobs in this sport, especially in this conference, Ben. Other conferences aren't like this. Let's just be real. And I'm sitting here in my office right now watching Oklahoma's defense, and it's like, gee, many Christmas. Like, when do we play the team that doesn't have like great pass rushers at defensive end and defensive tackle? And in this conference, it doesn't happen. I watch other conferences on tape. It happens often. So for Josiah to be doing what he's doing as a true freshman left tackle, I think he's done an awesome job. He doesn't look lost out there. He doesn't look overmatched. He doesn't look like a true freshman. Does he get beat at times? Sure. When you're playing offensive line in this league, you're going to get beat from time to time against these defensive lines that we play in this conference. There's NFL draft picks all over this conference, especially on the defensive line, more than any conference in America. But I think Josiah's done a good job. The thing that we've talked about him to him about, Ben, on the second part of your question, is just the grind of it. To me, is real. When you're a freshman, you're a true freshman. You're coming from your senior year of high school, where for a lot of these guys, their season was done at like Halloween. And when we get to Halloween this year, we got 5 games left at that point, guaranteed in the regular season. So it's the mental grind of it, but then also the physical part of it, like keeping his body weight up. And when you play a 12-game season in this conference, keeping your weight up, not just on the offensive line, but all positions. And I think one key with Josiah, too, is the fact that Kamar Bell is lined up next to him on every snap. And Kamar is an older guy that's a really good player and has done a lot of really good things for our team. And he helps, Josiah in so many ways, having that veteran, older presence lined up next to him.
Hey, Shane, it's John. Coming into the season, the corner spot opposite O'Donnell was kind of up for grabs and a question mark maybe. How do you feel like Judge and Vicari have played? It seems like both of those guys have done really well. Have they kind of matched or exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, they've done really good. They've done a really nice job. That was certainly a question, like you said, coming into it, and I think they've done really well. Credit Torian Gray and our defensive guys with the way that those guys have gotten better. O'Donnell is playing at a really high level. That interception he made yesterday was a big time play. I mean, big time ball skills. We're basically in man coverage with no help, and he was able to fall off his guy and go make that play. That was big time. And then Judge, he gains more and more confidence every week. The physicality he's playing with is really cool to see. Vakari continues to get better. So we really like that group. And then we're excited about the guys behind them, Emery Floyd and David Spalding's played a lot of snap football around here, Jalewis Solomon. So that's a good group. It's young that continues to get better. And I should have mentioned this beforehand too. We talked about this as a team today, but I certainly want to send my condolences and prayers to the family of Tylee Craft and the North Carolina football program. What a tragic loss, having him pass away yesterday after a 2-year battle with cancer. Hurt so much for that program in Chapel Hill, the family. Obviously, Tylee is from Sumter, South Carolina. A teammate of O'Donnell Fortune. So O'Donnell certainly had a tough time with that yesterday on the plane ride coming home after the game, finding out the news like he did. So thinking of them, something we talked about as a football team today in our team meeting, and praying for God's blessings on that UNC football team and Tylee's family and friends in Sumter as well.
Hey, Shane,
it's David.
Dave, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to ask about Nick Barrett, obviously filling in for some of the snaps y'all lost with Jules being out. What do you feel like you got out of him, and what's the plan with him moving forward at tackle this season?
Yeah, he did a good job. Alabama center is a really talented player. He's a little undersized, but he's really athletic and really talented. And we like Nick against him in that game, just from a matchup standpoint, being able to control the line of scrimmage a little bit. So I thought he did a good job, and, has to continue to work on disengaging and getting off blocks and finishing plays. And that will continue to come. And going forward, I think it's week to week with Nick as far as our game plan off defensively, who we're playing and what his role is. But he's an older guy that we have a lot of confidence in. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, Shane, I was going to ask about Kyle Kennard. We've all seen the statistics, but when he came in to the program, did he immediately kind of take that leadership role? Did he have to be coaxed into that? Just how was he in the locker room when he first got here?
He, I think a lot of our guys, David, Spencer or Rocket or whoever transfers that have come in from other places, I think he, like all those guys, did a great job of coming in and kind of earning his way where he earns the players' respect for the way he works and does things. I wouldn't say from a leadership standpoint it was automatic, something that's kind of happened organically with him during his time, but he's done a good job. He in our team meeting Friday night at the hotel, he got up and spoke and thought it was very powerful what he said. He was one of the guys, certainly as you guys can imagine, before I came in there and met with y'all yesterday at the press conference, that in that locker room, that was a bunch of hurt guys in that locker room. And he said some things in there that, showed great leadership in my opinion. So like the way that he's playing and how he goes about his business, and need him to continue to come along as well. Speaking of, we got to get you guys some chairs in that post-game press conference room in Tuscaloosa. So hopefully we can get that done for y'all next time we go over there.
Shane, had a quick follow-up. You mentioned that pick from O'Donnell. Is that part of the coverage that he's maybe looking to peel off his guy, or is that just a good athlete with good instincts seeing the ball and making a play?
I think more good athlete, good instincts, understanding the situation. He was a little bit loose in coverage, so he's in position to go make a play on the ball if they throw it to his guy. But if not, not that we expect him to handle. I mean, that was the ball. The ball was being thrown to a guy running a deep crossing route from the other side of the field. So for him to be able to defend his man, but then have the awareness to see that route coming across the field. That was a big time play. Yeah, I think it starts, Wes, with the fact that Joe DeCamillis, just like Pete Limbo, they don't coach another position. So during practice, they're with the kickers and punters and snappers the whole time. So they're really able to work on a lot of things during practice because they're getting coached the whole practice. So that's where it starts. Number two, that's something that we've been working, and that's a tough ball to defend. I mean, credit Kai, what a big time kick to be able to do that and to have the skill set in order to do that. So it starts in practice, just being able to play around with things like that and feel good about doing it. We always work onside kicks every week in practice because you never know when they're going to come up. So I've seen firsthand how consistent Kai is hitting that ball. So that's where it starts. That was going to be our kick all along because it's not your conventional onside kick. It takes a couple bounces and then people field it. That's hard, especially when it starts on the, before 10 yards, but then kind of like bends closer to 10 yards. We had a kicker when I was at Oklahoma, had a similar type kick. We didn't do it quite the same way, but had the same flight on the ball, and it's really tough to defend. And then in the game yesterday, we knew that was going to be our onside kick. Alabama called timeout right beforehand, and then they saw the kick. And then Joe Deese and I talked about potentially changing it and doing something else. And I said, no, do the same thing. I don't care if they know where we're kicking it. It's still a pain in the rear end to try and defend. So great job by Kai hitting the ball, and great job by the other 10 guys on the cover team getting in position to recover it. And just wish we could have finished that drive and walked out of there with a game-winning field goal or game-winning touchdown pass and feeling a whole lot better than we do right now. But back to work, and that's where I'm headed right now. So thank you, guys. I'll see you Tuesday.